Dugald.
Welcome to Mahala Monday. Thank you very much for joining us. Absolutely awesome to be with you. I like the way Rhoda is laughing, but we're going to explain all of that. We're going to explain all of that, and more importantly, I want to just say Happy Valentine's Day. Did you have for Saturday? You had a good day?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I believe you were working and Alfonso was also working.
Yeah, we were all working. Working. I love the new hairdo, Rhoda. You can see it, Rhoda's short in the hair slightly. It is a matter of time before we sport the same hairstyle. I'm working on it, but we'll
give me some time. I'll join you.
But once again, thank you very much for being part of this broadcast. It is wonderful to have you here with us at Mahala Monday. And before we continue any further, this is a live show, a live broadcast, so we would really appreciate your comments and questions that you have. It will be fantastic to hear from you, and of course to get the conversation going, definitely be part of it. And while we're on that topic, also, if you haven't done so yet, do us the big honor, the huge favor, please, just like and subscribe, and definitely share the show. But tonight, boy, do we go elite. Do we go to royalty tonight? Because I'm excited about this. Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
I can see. That's why you were laughing. You're starting off the show laughing, and people asking questions. It's all happening. It's all happening. You're excited, aren't you?
I'm very excited. Yeah. So you know my passion. What's my passion? My blood is green.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to answer, then you just jump over the answer.
But you can continue.
Okay, what is your passion? Chilies.
Besides that, Dugald. My passion is rugby. You know, whenever we talk on the show, what am I always talking about? Rugby.
No, you do. Yeah. You do. And you are exceptionally knowledgeable in rugby. Yes. You are. But as you should be, because which shows a true fan. But yes, we are indeed a rugby mad, crazed nation, firstly. And rightly so, because you have won the World Cup not once. We've won it many a time. But somehow there's that one World Cup that really stands out. It is the one that really expressed how a young nation at the time felt. But of course, there was huge positivity. And now, what would you say if I said to say to you that somebody that was part of that time and who was really an iconic superstar of the game, a hell of a person, is sitting right here with us? Wouldn't that be something? That would be something. But our focus tonight is really going on a topic that is close to everybody's heart. Now, last week, you would recall, we spoke about safety. And let's be honest, when it is safety, it is really always a pressing issue when it comes to the most vulnerable of our communities. And schools is a very vulnerable area. And it is really upon us to really look at the young ones, and that is where it is. So there's this wonderful initiative, My Safe Space, which we're going to be talking about. But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, getting back to the passion, getting back to the rugby, the name Bullet will definitely mean something to most people. Tonight, on Mahala Monday, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. James Bullet Dalton is here.
Am I allowed to clap for myself?
You are allowed. James, my goodness.
Yeah, so guys, you know, as time goes by, 95 is like many decades ago. Yesterday. So you know, I hope I'm not I was the bullet. I hope I'm not the blank now, but I'm going to say I'm a 50 caliber now.
James Dalton, welcome to Mahala Monday.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for joining us. There's so much we want to talk about. And right off the bat, I want to put this there because I know people are going to fly in with their comments. We are going to talk rugby. We are going to talk, but I'm going to move that. Let's talk about that towards the end of the show. But it is brilliant to have you here with us. Firstly, when we came in, we were talking earlier, you live in the Cape now. And just to everybody, we're broadcasting from Cape Town. You live in the Cape now.
I've been in Cape Town 15 years now, can you believe?
Wow.
So I'm not an alien to Cape Town any longer. So yeah, I'm part and parcel of a beautiful city and very privileged and indeed honored to live in this beauty and honored to be here on your show.
That's great.
And thank you for having me, guys.
Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
But let's get straight into it, because when it comes to safety, when it comes to security, it is a pressing issue for all South Africans. I mean, just a couple of days ago, we all just heard what was said in the State of the Nation. It is always a concerning point for all of us. Now, My Safe Space, this is your initiative. This is what you're part of. Tell us about it. Why is this so important? What is it that you do?
Okay. So, unfortunately, I'm going to start off by stepping on a few toes. I'm not going to name, but I'm going to state the fact.
I like
Go for it.
Go for it.
So there was an article written by a lady by the name of Margaret Roper in 1994, where the basic rights of kids was education, water, all that sort of stuff, and safety and security of these kids. Now I want to ask, have we achieved that objective of safety and security for these kids? Because it's written in the Children's Act. And I can tell you, no, we have not. We have failed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Straightforward. There it is. I started My Safe Space as being personal, safe, speaks for itself, and space where I go to, where I occupy, and where I might spend a lot of time. And trying to deliver a message that we need to create environments where our kids can be educated and leave school having broken their social ills, broken the toxicity of gender-based violence, of drugs, of gangs, of all sorts of illnesses. And My Safe Space is my passion. I live it, I eat it, I dream it. It's absolutely, it consumes me for all the right reasons. And I believe kids are not brought into this world to face these challenges. It's not their responsibility, and it's unfair to them. And it's for people like us, myself, to bring about change where we give our kids a fair fighting chance to empower themselves, to further themselves, and to become sustainable in their private and personal capacities, and to be able to enrich our society through the new value systems that we hopefully bring about.
So My Safe Space primary objective is to enhance safety in schools.
Yes, sir. So, I started, almost going from North Pole to South Pole, and then east to west. I don't know, geography, right? But in any case. And I first started by thinking, I want to make schools safe. And then when I started extrapolating the numbers in what the cost would be, man, it was just simply unaffordable. It was a model that wasn't going to work. I was looking at like anything from R250,000 up to almost R1 million. And it just wasn't feasible. If you look at your non-fee paying schools, you look at your Model C schools, and then obviously you have your quintile schools that the government categorized, quintile 1 to 5. And then I thought, in Johannesburg, we have a company that puts up columns of, first it was poles, so sorry, a bit of humor. I said to my partners, guys, we can't use this word pole anymore because it's got a bad connotation, I've seen people spinning on poles,
Makes sense.
So I came up with the word guardian column, which speaks for itself. Then we had the challenges of these columns being planted on the sidewalks. So we needed way leaves. Then you needed the cost to pay for that way leaf. So I said, no, guys, it's simply not going to work. The kids don't have time to wait. The schools don't have time to wait for that. We need results where we can implement immediately, effectively and immediately. Came up with the guardian column. It's a 2.5 meter long pole with an outreach arm put at the main entrance of the exit of the schools. It's got 2 LPR cameras that picks up vehicles of interest that are scouting the schools, with artificial intelligence cameras that does overview monitoring for suspicious human behavior, etc., and then picks up facial recognition as well.
Wow.
And then we went a little bit further and we realized that kids cannot, unfortunately, and it's not their fault, but through the continuous illness that we've bred within our societies, realize that kids cannot be trusted just to roam freely all around the schools. So we needed to create demarcated zones called no bullying here zones.
Okay.
With, you'll see my logo, that's
I
quite a
saw
bit
that one,
bulky.
yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
And where the kids are allowed to gather and the AI monitors them. In other words, that you can teach it to pick up kids standing in groups for too long, too close to each other. You can pick fist fights up. You can pick kids hitting the ground up. That immediately would go to the headmaster. It will alert 4 other individuals listed on a WhatsApp group, as well as the armed response company to come and intervene. But what I've had is everyone loves it. I presented to the Department of Education, to Safer Schools. The one director even first complimented me on being a great rugby player. I said, sir, that's wonderful. But unfortunately, I know that.
I wasn't going to bullet for that.
Yeah, my broer, ek's die bullet. And I said to him, sir, he says, look, Mr. Dalton, I must be honest with you. I've never seen anything like this. This is next generation. So I said, sir, Mr. Director, please do me a favor. Give me a letter of endorsement on this. He said, Mr. Dalton, I can't. I said, why not, sir? He says, it will kill your entire initiative. I said, on what basis? He said, because then you would land up having to go on tender. We would land up having 1,000 companies coming on tender. 2-3 years later, you would not have done one school, or not one school would have been done. And these are the challenges that I get faced with each and every day. If I may continue, I go to schools, I speak to headmasters, even on their electricity usage. Now, a lot of the schools actually don't pay their electricity because the district lands up paying it. Because how does a parent that's a fee-paying parent pay school fees, but the kids sitting in darkness? So the district pays it. So now the district could be taking all that money instead of paying for electricity and utilize those funds in other ways to uplift the schools in safety and security.
Yeah.
And then in that whole solution, which we call a PPA agreement, a power purchasing agreement, where we spread it over 15 years to amortize the cost, so there's no capex. We build in that rental a guardian column and AI cameras in these demarcated zones.
Okay.
But, and I'm not saying everybody, the headmasters have got no interest. It's fighting a cause. We see the illness, we see the cut, but we're not stitching it.
Yeah.
We're not taking the child to hospital. So I ask you, with tears in my eyes, actually blood running out my eyes, where to and how?
Wow. So that is quite a challenge because clearly, I mean, we hear the media, we hear every day of funny stories happening at schools. This is not a...
No.
Do you mobilize more parents? I think every parent out there, I mean, I have school-going children. Safety is a concern. I mean, out there at the time, I spend a lot of money just paying somebody to go fetch them.
But hang on, sir. Let me, I'm going to stop. I have to stop you there. You pay, you send your kid to school, you concern your school. But how safe do you know your kid is when he walks through those gates? You don't know.
I've got no idea.
But you can go onto a website and you can see the pass rate of a school. But do they tell you how safe and secure the school is? No. So what we've done, My Safe Space, we've actually built and developed and designed a school grading system from a 1-star to a 5-star.
Okay.
But I'm going to create a link, and this is where we're going to, is to create a link that parents can click on and see what the school's grading system is in terms of safety and security. So it's not about having 100 kids and 100 passing.
No.
What are the crime stats prevalent and that are prominent within that school?
So true.
Is it gender-based violence? Is it bullying towards each other? Is it smoking of cannabis? Is it playing spin the bottle? Is it all other sorts of nonsense?
Yeah.
That's what we need to know.
And it's
Because I'm not sending my kid to a school where he's going to start coming home with other issues.
Yeah. And also, like a lot of schools in certain areas, there's some unsavory characters, that sort of frequent the school
That
and
actually-
does some sort of weird trainings outside school. We hear all of this. So obviously there's difficulty when it comes to looking at it from a governmental side, getting them the buy-in. The support might be there on paper, but as we say, you often hear this term, it's the will in order to put a person's money where it is. Before we go further, we got some comments on the social on our show as well. We're gonna get to it because I wanna ask you up next, James. Is this one of the reasons you part of Integrated Crime Solutions? Is this how you kind of partnered with it, or not partnered with it, more like joined forces? I don't know how you want to
So before you
but
answer
before
that,
you do that,
I just want to give some of our guests out there a bit of airtime. So, Hubert, hello, Mr. Hubert.
Hello, Hubert. He says, good evening, guys. I've come to a very serious conclusion. James and Dugald don't just share vision and passion, they clearly share barber too. Same hairstyle, same energy. Una will be there soon, man. Thanks, mate. James says he used to be considered, but now he's perfectly humble to know be collaborating with
This
us.
legend.
Fair enough.
Lies, absolute lies.
So one of the thanks Hubert for that. My safe space now is part now of ICS, Integrated Crimes.
Yes, sir.
Which obviously also same vision, same way of making things safe, but also very much, and I picked this up from you, it's a very much a new way. It's an innovative way. It's a very collaborative way. It's bringing strings together of different entities and organizations and people all in the same space and coming up with solutions where I'm thinking to myself, it sounds so simple, but it's actually brilliant. It's fantastic. And I get that same essence and vibe when you speak about the schools. Is that why you did that?
Yeah, so I was actually very lucky, and I have to thank a friend of mine, Mr. Pierre Gous from District Watch, Bassett. He actually introduced me to the guys from ICS. And I'm on the advisory board of the foundation. We've recently formed ICS Crime Solutions, Pty Limited, of which I'm one of the 4 shareholders and directors. And our passion really is the upliftment of communities, underprivileged communities, around especially safety and security. And creating hubs and environments where kids can go out and play again and feel safe. At the moment, if you go look at data and statistics and research, kids don't play outdoors anymore because of the crime. Parents don't want them to go play outside, and I understand why. Exactly. So ICS is also as an initiative in Johannesburg called Josie My Josie, which is there to try and turn Johannesburg around and uplift Johannesburg again. And we want to take that template of 158 partner companies who are best of breed in their industries and bring that to our communities our underprivileged communities from Josie, Johannesburg, and cut and paste and bring that here and uplift our underprivileged communities.
Sorry, Dougal. I just need to jump in here quickly.
Yeah.
You know what? This is a classic example of a case where we're always saying, why are you waiting on government? And it's about time people start taking initiative and doing things for themselves. So hats off to you guys. And it's obviously not as easy, but it's a difficult task to say, we're going to make a difference now. And no, government is fine. You're not interested, but we're going to make the difference.
Unfortunately, you know, government is government. You know, all over the world, they are riddled with red tape. They're riddled with politics. You know, a politician, what do they say? When his mouth's moving, he's telling lies, sorry. And egos.
Yeah.
They are unfortunately massive. I don't have an ego. I might have an ego because I was a good rugby player, but that's where it stops. When it comes to kids and making a difference and creating safer learning environments with better outcomes for our future, okay, what are we going to breed? What are we going to have as the next generation? Uneducated kids? Kids that are manifested in their thought process around crime, doing wrong, doing bad to each other, men beating up women. Is that the society we want? And we think that our country is going to prosper out of that. Sadly enough, it's not going to happen, and it won't happen.
Definitely not.
So there's a big collaboration then between ICS and of course you now being part of the foundation and My Safe Space and the technology that you employ. I mean, earlier we saw, you spoke about an AI camera, you mentioned it earlier. And earlier we saw a photo with had a solar panel and cameras and all sorts. I wanted to ask you at the time, what is that?
Okay, so I've got two products. I've got a Guardian Guard, which is pretty much that you see there.
Yeah.
It's a Guardian Guard. It's the column with the outreach arm. Then I've got the Guardian Guard, which we can put on construction sites. It's mobile. You can wheel it around. You can use it at roadblocks. It's got LPR recognition on it, and it's got overview situational awareness.
That's that there on the left.
That's correct. That's it. It's got a solar panel, so it doesn't need power. So you can put it on construction sites. You can move it around. It's got lockable wheels, and it's got a temper alarm on it. So if you try and fiddle with it and you move it, it will trigger an alarm to the armed response company, whoever is as the contract on that site, and then it will notify them that somebody's trying to tamper with it. So I've created something that is static and something that is mobile. And even to say this, where you have issues of the construction mafia, where guys don't have to lay out massive capex to lay fiber, because you need the fiber to get the feeds into the control rooms.
Exactly.
You don't need power because you've got solar, and now you've got all the AI and the cameras, the technology and the software on it.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Oh,
that is.
That's another level.
Slim there.
Oh my word! So I'm sorry, but City has lost the plot as far as I'm concerned, because I believe that we need this on all our construction sites. It is a problem. We all know it's a problem at the moment. So why aren't you there, James? I'm very upset about that, because that's automatically the answer to so many of our problems.
You know, it is. So let's go further. So what I've even done is, like here at the back, is we're in the process of partnering with a very, very big company. I can't disclose it now for our NDA purposes and circumvention. But our new app is called My Safe Space. Speak to me.
Wow.
In other words, you can now report bullying anonymously.
What?
Okay. You can even take photos of bullying incidents. It gets uploaded. Okay?
Wow.
So you've got evidence of the person and the bullying to get the correct outcomes, corrective outcomes. We've done a partnership with a telecoms provider that is zero rated the data on it, so you don't need data to send a panic in distress. If you are being bullied, we can geolocate you exactly where you are. If you're in a taxi transporting and you're feeling a little bit insecure, you can also send a panic.
Wow.
We link to all the armed response companies in South Africa, as well as ambulances, emergency medical rescues. So the nearest one will come onto the scene. And then also when the kids are at home for incidents of domestic violence at home, for sexual abuse, all those type of things that happen within the confines of their own home. So now we can protect you from home to school, in the school, from the school, back home.
Wow.
Look, I cannot protect and ensure the protection of the kids during that journey because of the gang violence and the shootings in terms of territory across main roads. Unfortunately, nobody can do that. But we can protect the child while he's at home, on his journey in the vehicle, taxi or whatever other mode of transport, and I can guarantee the parent when that child is in the school, he's safe. And that is where our grading system comes in, where we audit it. But the important thing here, guys, is we need to inform the communities. If the communities are kept in the dark, like they are being kept in the dark, I'm paying, let's say, 2,000 Rand for my kids' school fees, but my school doesn't even have 1 star for grading, for safety and security. But the school down the road is also paying 2,000, but he's got a 3-star rating. Which school are you going to send your kid to?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's stop always talking about pass rate, okay? 33%, okay? Sorry. I'm not naming and shaming anyone. But
No, it's
what
true.
about the safety and security? I don't want my child being bullied. I don't want my child named and shamed. I don't want my child coming home with issues, functional issues, developing learning disabilities. I don't want my child scarred. Because one day I'm not going to be there, but my kid will be alone and they've got to live in this cruel world.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's a tough world we live in.
It's very tough. It is.
It is, and it's cutthroat, and it's ruthless.
It is, absolutely.
At most. We got a quick comment there quickly,
again.
so we just want to touch base with this. And we with James Dalton. We're talking all sorts of things here with My Safe Space, of course, James Dalton initiative to safeguard schools and keep everybody safe. But Hubert says, saluting James Dalton for turning My Safe Space into a haven where young people are heard, protected and empowered. Yes, thank you for that, Hubert. Much appreciated that you put there. So James,
there's another one.
here we
That's
go.
Wayne.
Wayne, how are you? Thank you very much. Who says we need to be intentional about putting our kids first.
That's so true.
That is absolutely right. Thank you, Wayne. Yeah, so much. Well done, James. You are truly honored. We're creating our new Safe South Africa, one space at a time.
One
Yeah.
space at a time.
Thank you very
That
much,
is so
Wayne.
true.
Thank you very much,
I like
Wayne,
that.
for saying
You
that.
must take a slogan, one space at a time.
Yeah.
Not one step at a time.
Not one step.
Hubert says exactly right. Just the strong communities thrive when everyone looks out for each other. Our kids thrive when we intentionally put them first. Yes.
So
And,
true.
and this is
That is
exactly
so
what it's got to be. So the organization is doing it, trying
Nadine
to
says
do.
wonderful initiative. Thanks,
I think
Nadine.
Thanks, Nadine. Can I have your number?
Sweet man.
it is a wonderful initiative. Thank you for that. So the technology, and obviously the technology has contributed to the business success so far that you have, because I've never heard of anything like that. Have you? I mean, this is like
Guys,
the first.
I can categorically state to you now, the research I've done, I don't have an income. I only work on my safe space in the future of our kids, because they are our future.
They are our future.
And there is nothing of its kind. There's nothing of its kind in terms of grading. Like you grade a hotel, a resort, or a lodge, the same, we're going to grade it. We audit the schools. I do not sign a contract with a school without a service level agreement. Because if that camera breaks, hy moet reggemaak word.
Yeah.
There's no downtime. We have a 99.9% uptime. Okay? Vandalism. If cameras get hit with baseball bats or thrown with bricks or shot at or whatever, we go in, we replace. That's why we have these mechanisms in place. So we guarantee that whatever we put in place works 99.9% of the time.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So James,
We need to get you back to
obviously there are different schools in different areas. You know, and obviously there are different focus areas, but we wish you the best, because this is definitely an initiative that every school should have.
They should have.
This
I'm
is
sorry.
not like
It's a
this
must.
just for certain areas. This is for everything, because you know it's always a scale of of levels, if I can put it that way. Certain schools in certain areas, and I'm going to use Cape Town, and we all know it's well documented, let's say in the Cape Flats, what those children go through, those learners at those schools, most grown-ups can't handle that.
No.
Yeah, sure.
And it's every day.
And it's every day.
Yeah.
So the problem, what we need to understand, it's not that it is the kind of adult that we create. By exposing somebody to that constant torture, that constant way of things, you hear somebody applaud, you want to hit the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we just want to
exactly.
duck. And this has happened to me. I was with somebody and something fell and this person just ducked.
But what is the consequence?
And
Do you know that the consequence, if you have 3 strikes, breaking the rules, even the law at a school, I cannot dismiss you and expel you from the school. It's against the Constitution, against the Children's Act. You can't do that. Okay? Do you know that South Africa has the highest kidnapping rate in Africa?
No ways.
yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, no, it is quite high.
And that's what they do. They scout the schools, they drive past, the kids stand outside, mommy and daddy are running half an hour late, the kids are not paying attention, they're on their phone talking. The column will then pick you up 30 minutes later, alert the security guard, he'll then take you inside and put you by the demarcated AR zone, no bullying here, and your parents pick you up from there. But if the kid is left out there, vulnerable, that is when the cars drive past, they open the back door, they pull that kid in, they kidnap the kid, and they've actually got a name for it. You're not going to believe this. This is the more horrifying part of it. They call it express kidnapping.
What?
Where they kidnap a kid for 10,000 rand. So it's become like fashionable crime. It's become, imagine syndicates, 100 of them across the country kidnapping 100 kids a day.
Gee,
Times 10,000 rand. Go do the numbers. That in fact, the police stats in the second quarter released last year, November, in urban and public spaces, parking lots, community centers, anything outdoor that was regarded as an open public space, that the crime was up by 80, the crime there is 84%. Now I'll go ask you.
So sad.
When is enough enough? When do you take the stick and you keep bending it before it snaps? What has happened with all these commissions that we see every day on TV?
Yeah.
That's what happened. The stick has snapped. Are we going to allow that to happen at our schools? Because if we carry on like this, it's going to happen.
But we are allowing it to happen because we're not acting on it.
So what are we doing? Am I your opposition or collaborate with me.
Exactly.
Work with me.
Yes.
I don't want the kudos. I don't want the title. I'll give you everything. I'll sit in the back. I'll collaborate with whoever ever wants to partner with me, and I'll give you all the credit. But I want to see the change.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, hopefully it happens. Hopefully it happens. Now, of course, what we're seeing there on the screen, though, is this is that I got in my hand here, which is a leaflet that James has brought in that we've put up there for you. But definitely have a look at it. On that, of course, you will also find some contact details. But James, if people want to learn more about My Safe Space, how do they connect with you? What would be the easiest way to get in touch?
My email address is james@jamesdaltongroup, one word, .co.za. I'll repeat, james@jamesdaltongroup.co.za.
Cool.
Okay, perfect.
And that's also the website, jamesdalton.co.za,
On your screen
where they
there.
can find out as much as possible. But the success so far, because rolling out all the services and everything that you provide with the My Safe Space, this must be really inspiring, because you can see the light on at the end of the tunnel that there is there.
The light is there, guys. We've just actually, the switch is there, the lights are there, everything is there.
Everything is
We
there.
just need someone to say, okay, come, let's turn the switch on.
Oh.
Now, here's another bit of light at the end of the tunnel. You don't need capex. You don't need to go take money, buy a chunk of money out your pocket to afford a My Safe Space. We offer rental finance.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so you can put it on a rental finance. We have a non-profit organization, a PBO, a public benefit organization. So companies who want to get on board can get a Section 18A certificate and benefit from the tax deductions against it. So we've put all of this in place to make it more affordable, and where your non-fee paying schools and your Model C schools can also be safe and secure and are not discriminated against.
Exactly.
Well, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's put it out there for corporate South Africa, because last week we said this as well. And I think this is where the corporates really can get in, because as James just alluded to, so there's that PBO sort of section there, there's that certificate that everybody wants. But just think about it, how much this would mean even for the brand of your organization to say, I have contributed to make that school safe. And this is exactly it. And this is what James said. He doesn't want the credit, but what he wants is like what we all want. We want safe spaces for the young people. That is what we want.
So we'll go one step further.
Yes.
On all the pillars, the columns, I will even corporates that donate, they can wrap the pole with their branding, and they can get brand exposure free of charge for coming on board and making a difference at schools.
So there you go.
That is great.
What
That is
more
great.
do you want?
No, you definitely want to be the part of this, because this is almost do you know what? Because I want to make this point before I go to that comment. I want to make this point. There was always this argument with the companies, if you weren't seen being green, it means you were turning your back on the environment.
Oh, yeah.
Not that you were anti-green. And when I say anti-green, I mean, we all are responsible for the environment. But when there was a huge movement with a lot of businesses, a lot of organizations all going this side, and it was almost, if you weren't doing it, you were left behind.
Exactly.
You were made out to be that you don't support this. This is going to be where this is a huge epidemic.
Yeah, it is.
This is a huge problem. If you live in the suburbs, you're secluded from this. This is not how 99% of the country lives.
No.
Wherever you are, this is a huge problem. We've got all this red tape, we've got all this delays, everything else. There are people who are trying to make a positive impact. So you got to be involved. Safety, security is no longer the concern of or of others. For the longest time, it has been our concern. But we haven't acted. Only one.
So
We need to act. We got a comment or two. Let's have a look. Somebody wanted to say something, and I got to ask James some rugby questions. I know I've taken him longer than normal. He goes, it takes a community to raise a child. Thank you very much, Wayne.
That is so true.
Yeah, true. Hubert says AI brings a level of vigilance that humans can't match. It monitors the risk faster than humans. AI doesn't replace humans, it supercharges them, ensuring communities and assets stay safe around the clock. Indeed. Thank you for putting that up there. Thank you very much for putting that up there. And yes, so what you got to do is go check out, go to James's website, go to my Safe Springbok. All the details are there. jamesdaltongroup.co.za. All the details are there. You will find it. It's on the screens as well. My Safe Space. And it is just a great name. And we've got the website details for you on the screen there. So very easy. And of course, if you email James, don't tell him he was a great rugby player, partner with him, collaborate with him. He knows he was a great rugby player, which is why I'm going to ask a rugby question. Do you want to, just one. Just one.
No naughty stories,
No naughty stories. No naughty stories. Okay. All right.
There's my man. There's my man.
Wait, you I mean, at the time when it was Super Rugby, you played for the Cats, but you played for the Bulls, if memory serves.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
No,
So I'll never forget. I played for Transvaal and we played the Bulls, and I scored a controversial try.
Ooh.
Which was was it or wasn't it a try? But hang on. It was on the scoreboard. And we then eliminated the Bulls out of the Currie Cup final. And then I stopped playing rugby for a while. Just me and Nick Mallet had a fallout, and I got my back up and whatever. And then I went and made my comeback, and I played for the Bulls. So it was quite ironical that when I played for Transvaal, running out at Loftus, they booed me. And then I'm wearing a Bulls jersey, running out the tunnel, and they cheering for me. So it
James,
was the best of both worlds.
I mean, people called you Bullet because you were this. I mean, obviously, I'm not the biggest person in the world. What are you? You're not one. I mean, you're not the tallest person on the planet.
When I'm standing on my toes, I am.
But the thing is, I mean, they were. I mean, we look at the size. I mean, at your time, there was huge people. I mean, I once saw somebody play a little bit after you, Corne Krieger. And also, I saw him standing next to another monster person, which is not a person. I'm sorry for saying this, but Victor Matfield is not a... People don't get that big. That's not the person. This is... I don't know what that is.
Hy het klein kinders.
It's a huge person. So I'm thinking now, there's you. And I remember watching people singing the anthems. There's you standing next to Kobus Visser or somebody, and it's like the camera goes up, and it takes you like, and there you are. But when it came to the scrum, when it came to the ruck, when the ball was happening, there was one guy that was like the enforcer. They didn't call you Bullet for just Mickey Mouse reasons.
Exactly.
So
you were like the toughest person on that pitch.
So you know the irony is, when I played my style of rugby as I was 94 kilos, I was like the enforcer. Now you've got, then I was like named and shamed for being like a dirty rugby player. Meanwhile, I was only centre, yeah. Now you get like you had your Bakkies, Boerte, and your and they get accolades. They get accolades for it. But I was named and shamed. But for me, my career, yes, I was always the smallest. And in fact, I'll never forget going to a cocktail party, and one of the elderly gentlemen who had, by that stage during the game had about 15 double J&B and sodas on the rocks. And he came to me and he said, young Dalton, can I come with your pride? I said, sure, sir. What? He says, don't you think you're a bit small for a hooker? I don't think you're going to... He said to me, I don't think you're going to make it. And you know what my policy then was? I trained when my enemy was sleeping. And that's why I made it. Because my tenacity, my perseverance, my hard work, and my belief in myself made it all possible for me.
You see?
Sure.
And it's that belief that gets us over the line all the time. I mean, Of course, now you elite level athlete, you operated that. I got to ask you this because we often talk rugby as a. I mean, obviously, if you ask any international rugby player, what are the games you look forward to most? Obviously, you always want to be measured against the best, that sort of thing. What are some of the games that stand out for you over your international
obviously,
career?
you know, I mean, winning the Super 10 with Transvaal against Auckland, winning the Tri-Nations 98, being part of the squad that won the World Cup in 1995. And to be honest with you, just being a Springbok in a very proud rugby country and saying that I wore that jersey. And I was one of the best. You know, I played in an era of Sean Fitzpatrick, Phil Kearns, Federico Mendes, Keith Woods, James Dalton. Am I a GOAT? Absolutely.
The fact that I know who you are means you like you're brilliant. When you look at it now, I mean, there you're part of the squad at 95. Subsequently, it's happened a couple of times to us now. We've won the most successful team ever at the Rugby World Cup. When you look at the boys play now, you must go like, oh yeah, pioneer you were, and all of that. But you must look at rugby in a broad spectrum and just say, oh, we're a good sport.
So yes, we are. We're a phenomenal rugby nation. The difference with us is that our number 1 and our number 2 are equally good. And so when our players come off the bench, the other teams just don't have the same caliber bench players. So when we go back to 95, which we always refer to, picture farmland, this vacant farmland. We bought this vacant farmland, and then over the years came the foundation, the walls were built, the roof was built, and that is where we are today, being at the top of the food chain in terms of rugby. But we all played a part in building that iconic Springbok status and success. You know, as we say, there is no I in team.
Definitely
So
not.
true. So true.
And my final question is your book, your autobiography.
Yeah.
Where can people get this?
Well, we're going to have to ask Highbury Media, Mr. Kevin Ferguson and Mark O'Hain, who was the author of the book. And yeah, you know, guys, there was a bullet that, you know, I couldn't always hold my head up high. I got involved in the wrong things. You know, I changed my ways, and I now can say I'm Bullet 2.0, a new version. And proudly say that, you know, I haven't touched alcohol now for 27 months.
Wow.
And what a life, what a different life. Hashtag sobriety, guys. It's the only way to go. And nothing good to our kids, nothing good comes from doing bad things. Know that. Good always prevails over evil. And if you stand for nothing, you fall for everything.
Oh, there's a lot to take away from here.
Before we finish up.
No bullying, yes.
Before we finish up, my big question, obviously because I'm a rugby fan, I love rugby.
I'm done with the rugby question.
Excels maar veel drukkie here. It's basically, why then, I mean for me, crazy question, rugby and then all of a sudden security, what happened? What was the reason that breach happened?
The same sport.
you know, you look at, you look at, so in my rugby career, our development was you go to a bus into a township, you hand out a few T-shirts, you give them a Spur burger, and you spend 30 minutes coaching them, you disappear. And you break their dreams. Then I looked at their vulnerabilities around safety and security, how vulnerable these little ones are. The bad habits they learned, how malicious and vindictive they were to each other, but without knowing it. The social illnesses they carried on passing on. And then the reality is seen what's going on in our schools. And I love kids. I actually prefer being with kids as opposed to being with adults. Adults work on my nerves. Because they have 2 or 3 brandies in their backsides, and then they know everything. Kids are innocent. They are willing to learn. They like sponges. And I love kids. And I love animals. That's maybe why I like myself so much.
And he's a bull. And a bull.
Yeah. So I always joke, I have to say this. You know, I say I tie a bone around my neck and then I play with myself.
We got a couple of comments as we wrap up our time here with James Dalton this evening. He says, Hubert says, don't mention Canada, James. I didn't mention it. You're writing it there. You know what I mean? I didn't mention anything about it. Denver, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, hello.
Good to see you. Says hi. He's in all respects still a bullet and as passionate. Yes. Thank you very much. Tenacity reflects in his passionate business ethics and to find that safe space for our kids. Yes, that
so true,
is
it. So true.
Nadine is back. Love your message, James. So encouraging. Well done. Thank you, Nadine. Thank you very much. I think it is very, very encouraging. But keep those comments going. Keep that conversation going, because if we have that conversation going, I'm sure we're going to come up with more solutions. Hy moet maar vir Skollie kom touwys maak ook. Okay, Annika, yes, thank you, Annika. Thank you. Good to hear from you. Hope you are well. So, James, thank you so much. Thank you for staying extra few moments. I know we've definitely taken more of your time.
We've taken up so much time.
But thank you very much for that. There's so much that we've got to talk to you about, because
I mean, I love talking.
Notice.
I could keep you going forever.
But you got to come see us again, because we definitely want to put this out there that I think this is a wonderful opportunity for corporate South Africa, for organizations to collaborate. And also, just going back to what you said earlier, in terms of red tape that we have, the bureaucracy that we have. Government is trying to do something, education, they're trying to do something, but it will tie up things. You know what I mean? Time is obvious.
And I'm happy to have a caucus with SAPS, with safer schools, with the Department of Education, the Department of the Western Cape Education. Come and sit with me. I'll build things into my app that you believe should be there. I will do things that you can guide me on. But let me be the custodian. Let me lead it. You don't have time to do it.
Exactly.
The government doesn't have time for this. They've got to worry about other things. First of all, each other. Okay?
So true.
You know, so let somebody mandate somebody to be the custodian and head this up.
Exactly.
And then let's talk in a year's time and look at the data, the statistics, and see the difference my safe space has made in reducing bullying, violence, and all other sorts of nastiness within our schools. You know, I've also partnered on that note. If I may finish, I've partnered with a company called Digimune. We've got agreements in place with Meta, which is your social media platforms, so we can take down accounts where kids are naming and shaming, bullying each other on social media. If kids delete it because now they've been caught out and in trouble, we can still identify the IMEI number of the phone and we can still catch you. So we've gone beyond. So we've got tech, we've got mental health and wellness talks, we've got bullying talks, we've got an app, and we have a social media custodian watching what you're publishing and naming and shaming.
Sure.
So we've got it all. But I need government, I need SAPS, I need partners to embrace it and not see it as a threat. I'm not a threat. I'm a
Exactly.
friend.
Yeah.
I'm a friend to whoever wants
Sure.
to make a difference to our kids and our future.
Well,
I know we have to finish up now, but there's one little thing I still need to bring up. It's one of your passions we've spoken about, and
Yes.
it's regarding the police. I do believe there's a comment
and
again.
that is exactly
Oh,
what you were
yes.
just saying. Yeah.
There we go.
there.
I was actually just going to bring that up. So there's another passion of yours, the policeman, the fallen policeman. Tell us a little bit more about that one.
Yeah, so
Gone, but not forgotten.
gone but not forgotten. We have many policemen that lose their lives in the line of duty, that are honourable policemen. Unfortunately, their children that are left behind become collateral damage. They are not financially equipped through the loss of their parents and even they lose their medical aid, their PolMed medical aid. Well, I don't know how it works exactly, but there's also those risks. But to support the fallen policemen in donating, and I call out to corporates to make donations so that we can put these kids through school, keep their dignity intact, get them educated so that they can contribute once again to our country. So fallen but not forgotten. So to all our SAPS heroes, current, present and past, you do remain our pillars that our society relies on. So forget what the TV says. There are great, good, honourable policemen out there doing good work every day. But for the fallen ones, let's get behind, let's make donations, and let's get their kids educated as well. Thank you, guys.
There was something Yubel put up there. I
And that
just
is
want to highlight it again quickly.
Yeah, that's exactly what,
See,
what James was saying. Education fund for children of fallen SAPS heroes, 100 Rand. It's basically a takeaway meal, which you'll forget in 10 minutes, but for a child of a fallen SAPS hero, 100 Rand is hope, dignity and education for life. So,
Come on, 10 grand for a corporate is nothing.
10 grand is nothing for a corporate. That is
zero.
true, James. That is another zero.
10 grand is nothing.
James, we need to get you back on the show.
We're going to get you back.
I'm ready. When am I back? Tomorrow?
I'll speak to the guys on the other
We're
side.
going to have to get you back. But listen, thank you so much
thank you.
for the
Guys,
extra time.
I'm
Thank you.
indeed privileged and honored for having been here.
Wow.
Thank you for the manner in which you've dealt with this interview. You've given me a platform to speak a lot, to tell you about my passion, to tell you about my safe space. And I'm very grateful. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, James.
James.
Let me shake your hand, man. Let me tell you thank you, because I was going to tell you normally we talk a lot more. We just didn't talk a lot today.
Hey, Jay, jy kan nie
Thank me for it, so I'm taking
Jay, jy
it
kan nie meer as ek praat nie.
back. James Dalton, thank you so
thank
much
you.
for being on Mahala Monday.
for
We're
being
gonna have him back. We're gonna have him back. Wow, what can we say?
Oh.
There's a lot to take away from tonight.
A lot.
There is a lot, but thank you firstly for all those wonderful comments and questions that came through. The one takeaway that definitely came back, there is an urgency. There is an urgency. There is definitely a need for us to be more aware when it comes to safety and having safe spaces exactly for young people. And like I said right at the beginning, they're the most vulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
Now, once you bring in all the socioeconomic impacts and the variables that we deal with, if you live in, let's say, certain area of our community and society, the vulnerability goes up, which means the safety of the school, or where most time is spent, also needs to go up a little bit with that vulnerability. That doesn't happen. It normally just falls away or lacks completely. And this is where we got to step up. We cannot, for the longest time, say we want, we would love to have, and we don't act on it. This is it. You can't, and this is, I go back to the analogy I made earlier. Organizations found themselves in that about 10, 15 years ago. If you weren't seeing actively doing something that was good for our environment, you were seeing that you are against it. We are now entering that when it comes to our safety.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes
Children's
to children's safety. This is no longer a question that is up for debate. That time has come and gone. Whether you are part of the conversation, great. If you're part of the solution, fantastic. but we actively got to collaborate here and actively get involved. And that is what we are. And what James Dalton is basically saying is, work with me here. I've got the tools here. Get on board, help me. You can get all the credit. He's not after it. But having a safe space. And of course it's measurable. Of course you can do all of that. What you need to do is go visit that website right now, which is www.jamesdaltongroup.co.za. You'll find all the ins and outs there. My Safe Space, it is definitely a fantastic initiative, of course. And to find out more, you can also go to ICS, Integrated Crime Solutions, because this is what collaboration does. It's bringing all these amazing things together. Everything is just working together. And like I said earlier to James as well, it's when we spoke to the ICA, there's that same, it's very, I want to say new age and like new ways and modern and like snazzy and like, ooh, very James Bondy, like, you know what I mean? Like it's very like new,
James,
like,
also James Bond.
you know, like it's that kind of thing.
It is so true.
And it is there for us to enjoy. We got the technology there. Is certainly, it's just the buy-in. That's what we need to do. But you definitely got to go visit the website. Yes,
and
guys, one last thing.
Yes,
James.
You know what? Be kind to each other. Be patient with it. Be compassionate. Stop naming and shaming. Stop pointing fingers. And what do? Do your own bit. Make a difference.
What a way to end the show.
Yeah. You wanted to say?
I wanted this. James just caught me totally off guard there, but well said, James. I just wanted to tell the companies out there, like as James has said as well, they can put your logo or your business logo on the pillar as well, on the column. So please do get in contact with James and make that difference, because again, when it comes to Mandela Day, everybody wants to do everything on that day. You don't have to wait for that day. There's other things that need to be done. Our security of our children is vital at this point. So if you want to make that difference, don't have to wait for Mandela Day. You can start doing it now. So please make that difference.
Yeah. We are presented with an opportunity where we can change the direction of travel. This is what we have. We have an opportunity. And that's all we could ever ask for, is an opportunity. It is what we do with the opportunity, the chance, the opportunity given to us to get the goal that is desired. So I'm going to leave you with that. Whatever your direction of travel is, hopefully it is one that is positive, meaningful, and brilliant for you at all costs. Thank you for the wonderful comments. Thank you to James Dalton, who came in for a visit. Thank you to you for watching.
Yes.
Please subscribe. Please like and share this one. I promise you we're going to get James back. We'll talk more rugby. I've got so many other questions now that I should have asked, but I had the time, which I didn't. But all from all of us, thank you so much for watching. And we'll be back with you next week. Same time, same place for another edition of Mahala Monday. Until then, goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.